Hi everyone, it's Perfter, your favorite goofball, and I'm going to be playing a Doki Doki Literature Club. I don't know what it's about. It kind of looks like a dating thing where I get to choose one out of the four unless there's another fifth person that comes in. I don't know because I've never done anything with this game. I never watched it, never played it, never done anything with it. But it looks fun, and we like fun. And that is what we're going to be doing today. Alrighty, let's get to it. Alright, let's go. I don't know about it. Enter my name. For that would be Perfter. Yeah, Perfter. I didn't think we had to put in our name. Hey, I see an annoying girl running toward me from a distance, waving her arm in the air like she's totally oblivious to any attention she might draw to herself. That girl is Ayori, my neighbor and good friend, since we were children. You know, the kind of friend you never see yourself making today, but it just kind of works out because you've known each other for so long. We used to walk to school together on days like this, but starting around high school, she would oversleep more and more frequently, and I would get tired of waiting up. But if she's going to chase after me like this, I almost feel better off running away. Why are you running away if she's... I understand if you have to wait for her, and it's like, oh man, she overslept and she's not going to go and come, so I better go. I'm not even going to. But it kind of seems like she got up, she's running to you, and you're like, I feel better if I ran away. Like, I don't even want to be around her right now. Like, bruh. Really, you have to be like this to her? I feel like a douche. However, I just sigh and idle in front of the crosswalk and let Sayuri catch up to me. It's like, really? I overslept again. But I got you this time. Maybe. But only because I decided to wait for you. Let's stop and wait for you. Yeah. You say like you were thinking about ignoring me. Well, whoever I am, this me, was thinking about ignoring you for no apparent reason. I mean, yeah, we used to be friends and stuff like that, and my guy's acting like he's like annoyed by this Sayori. That's mean, Perfter. I'm sorry. Well, if people stare at you for acting weird, then I don't want them to think that we're a couple or something. Fine. But you did wait for me, after all. I guess you don't have it in you to be mean, even if you want to. Whatever you say, Sayori. We go off the street together and make our way to school. As we draw near, the streets become increasingly speckled with other students making their daily commute. By the way, Perfter, have you decided on a club to join yet? A club? I told you already, I'm not really interested in joining in clubs. I haven't been looking either. That's not true. You told me you would join a club this year. Did I? I'm sure it's possible that I did in one of our many conversations where I dismissively go along with whatever she's going on about. Man, I'm being seen like a douchebag more and more. Why do I not like this girl? Like, what is going on? This girl doesn't seem like a bad person so far. Only thing is, she's just oversleeping. That's what I'm getting at. She just oversleeps. Why? Sayuri likes to worry a little too much about me when I'm perfectly content with just getting by on the average while spending my free time on games and my anime. Oh, okay, this part right here kind of reminds me of myself. I like to getting by on the average and just spending my free time on games and anime. That speaks to me, like that she's talking about me right there. Hey. I was talking about how I'm worried that you won't learn how to socialize and have any skills for it before college. Your happiness is really important to me, you know? And I know you're happy now, but I died at the thought of you becoming a NEET in a few years because you're not used to the real world. Okay, a NEET is a person that just stays inside and pretty much plays games, read books, whatever. He just, or she just pretty much closes herself in her place and doesn't come out ever, because all they want to do is their fantasy world or whatever. They just don't get out there to the real world. You trust me, right? Don't make me keep worrying about you. Alright. I'll look in a few clubs if it makes you happy. No promises, though. Will you at least promise me you'll try a little? Yeah, I guess. I'll promise you that. Yay! Why do I let myself be lectured by such a carefree girl? Bro. It's like he thinks highly of himself so far, and he can't. Bro, she... Not really a lecture, really. She's just worried. She's just putting it out there what she thinks. It's not really sitting there saying, you better go do this, or else. You know, if you go through the life not doing anything, you're gonna become something. It's advice, man. It is advice, not like a lecture kind of thing. I mean, she looks like she's got some good things going. You know, she's happy about clubs and stuff. Happy about something. More than that, I'm surprised I even let myself relent to her. Relent? Thanks, relent. I guess seeing her worry so much about me makes me want to ease her mind at least a little bit, even if she does exaggerate everything inside her head. The school day isn't ordinary as ever, and it's over before I know it. After I pack up my things and stare blankly at the wall looking for an ounce of motivation. Clubs. Theory wants me to check out some clubs. I guess I have no choice but to start with the anime club, since I love anime. Hello? Sayuri? Sayuri must have come to the classroom while I was spacing out. I look around and realize that I'm the only one left in the classroom. I thought I'd catch you coming out of your classroom, but I saw you just sitting here spacing out, so I came in. Honestly, you're even worse than me at sometimes. I'm impressed. You don't need to wait up for me if it's gonna make you late to your own club. Well, I thought you might need some encouragement, so I thought, you know what? Well, that you would come to my club. Siri. Yeah. There's no way I'm going to your club. You mean Siri is the vice president of the literature club. Not that I was ever aware that she had any interest in literature. In fact, I'm 99% sure she only did it because she thought it would be fun to help start a new club. Since she was the first one to show interest after the one who proposed the club, she inherited the title of vice president. Wait, hold on. So she's the first one to show up or show interest after the one who proposed. So somebody proposed the club, and then she was the first one to show interest in it. Alright, that's awesome. That said, my interest in literature is guaranteed to be what the f is wrong with you, me? Why do I not like this girl? What is... Oh, she oversleeps. Oh my gosh. She's careless at a lot of things she does. But she has a will to do stuff, dude. And she looks like she has heart to do her literature stuff. Alright, and I don't know why my guy is picking on her in his own head. Like, he just thought, like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be anywhere around this girl. I want to run away from her. And if she's in his club, I do not want to have anything to do with her. Golly. Yeah, I'm going to the anime club. Come on, please. Why do you care so much anyway? Well, I kind of told the club yesterday I would bring in a new member. And Nazaki made cupcakes and everything. Don't make promise you can't keep. I can't tell if you're his really that much of an airhead, or if she's so cunning as to have planned all of this out. Well, I want to sit here and say this to my guy right now. I want to punch my guy. Just saying. I want to punch him. Because you two used to be good friends. Like, you know, getting up and going to school together. And the only reason why you don't want to do anything with her is she oversleeps. Like, why would you feel the need to not like her in that direction? Like, anything that she does, you want to have nothing to do with her. Like, what the heck? This part right here, she's sitting there, it's not because she's an airhead or she's cunning. It's because she, like, wants to do something with her friend. She thinks of you as me as a friend. That's what she's thinking right now. And now my guy is being a total... I don't want to, idiot. I let out a long sigh. I let out a long sigh. Fine, I'll stop by for a cupcake, okay? Yes, let's go. And thus today marks the day I sold my soul for a cupcake. I dejectedly follow Sayori across the school and upstairs in a section of the school I rarely visit, being gradually used for third year classes activity. Sayori, full of energy, swings open to the classroom door. Everyone, the new member is here! I told you, don't call me a new member. I glance around the room. Welcome to the literature club. It's a pleasure meeting you. Sayuri always says nice things about you. Well, I wish I said nice things about Sayuri, because freaking douche. My guy's a douchebag, okay? Seriously, you brought a boy? Way to kill the atmosphere. Why are you being like this, girl number 2? Why are you like being a buzzkill? Your attitude's killing this freaking atmosphere right now. I mean, literature means, you know, the way of writing or reading, or I don't know, literature. I think it has to do with words and sentences and stuff like that. That can be boys and girls, but why do you want it to be all like structured into one gender? Just all you girls just doing your thing. Now you're getting mad at me because I'm a boy. What the heck? You're like a freshman. Look at this. You look so small compared to this girl right here. You look so young. You look like you're like a 3rd year or 4th year, and you look like a 1st year. I mean, even if you look like a 2nd year, you look like you're a freaking 1st year. You look the youngest. You look like the youngest. Okay, that's all. Way to kill the atmosphere. Okay. Yuck. Ah, perfect. What a nice surprise. Thank you, girl number 3. Welcome to the club. All words except escape me at this situation. This club is full of incredibly cute girls. Okay, I like her, and I like her. Your attitude gets my nerves right now. Sorry. What are you looking at? Now your attitude's getting worse on me right now. If you want to say something, say it. Golly, I'm sorry, dude. Ah, freaking freak you. Misaki. Okay, Misaki, frick you. Wait, who had the cupcakes? Is it Misaki? Is that the one who had the cupcakes? The girl with the sour attitude, whose name is apparently Misaki, is one I don't recognize. Her small figure makes me think she's probably a 1st year. That's what I was thinking. She's so small. She's probably the one who made the cupcakes, according to Sayuri. Yeah, Misaki made the cupcakes. That's what Sayuri said, I think. You can just ignore her when she gets moody. Okay. I mean, that's the only thing I can do, because she gets annoying. Sayuri says that quietly into my ear, then turns back toward the other girls. Anyway, this is Misaki. Always full of energy. She's not full of energy, she's mad. And this is Yuri, the smartest in the club. That's Yuri. Oh. Don't say things like that. Yuri, who appears comparably more mature and timid, seems to have a hard time keeping up with people like Sayuri and us. Well, it's nice to meet both of you. And it sounds like you're already know Monica. Is that right? That's right. It's great to see you again, Perfector. Monica smiles sweetly. We do know each other. Well, we rarely talk, but we know we're in the same class last year. Monica was probably the most beautiful girl in the class, smart, beautiful, and athletic. Basically completely out of my league. So having her smile at me so genuinely feels a little... You too, Monica. Come sit down, Perfector. You made some room for you in the table so you can sit next to me or Monica. I'll get the cupcakes. Hey, I made them. I'll get them. Sorry, I got a little too excited. Then how about I make some tea as well? Tea and cupcakes. Doesn't seem like a bad deal, guys. Doesn't seem like a bad deal. The girls have a few desks arranged to form a table. As Yuri mentioned, it's been widened so that there is one space next to Monica and one space next to Yuri. Nasaki and Yuri walk over to the corner of the room where Nasika grabs a wrapped tray and Yuri opens the closet. Still feeling awkward, I take a seat next to Yuri. Nasaki proudly marches back to the table, tray in hand. Okay, are you ready? Ta-da! Woo! Nasaki lifts the foil off the tray and reveals a dozen of white, fluffy cupcakes decorated to look like little cats. The whiskers are drawn with icing and the little pieces of chocolate are used to make ears. So cute! I had no idea you were so good at baking, Nasaki. Hey, well, you know, just hurry and take one. So Yuri grabs one first, and Monica, I follow. It's delicious! So Yuri talks with her mouth full and has already managed to get icing on her face. I turn the cupcake around with my fingers, looking for the best angle to take a bite. Misaki is quiet. I can't help but notice her sneaky glances in my direction. Is she waiting for me to take a bite? I finally bite down. The icing is sweet and full of flavor. I wonder if she made it herself. This is really good. Thank you, Misaki. Why are you thinking me? It's not like I... Why are you acting like this? It's a freaking compliment, bro. Have I heard this somewhere before? Made them for you or anything? I thought you technically did, Sayuri said. Well, maybe, but not for you, you dummy. Alright. Lady, girl, you're just ruining the mood right now, just saying. You're just... What the heck? I give up on that. Saki's weird logic and dismiss the conversation. Yuri returns to the table carrying a key tea set. She's carefully placed a teacup in front of each of us before setting down the teapot next to the cupcake tray. You keep a whole tea set in the classroom? Don't worry, the teachers give us permission. After all, doesn't a hot cup of tea help you enjoy a good book? I guess. Don't let yourself get intimidated. Yuri's just trying to impress you. That's not... Insulted. Yuri looks away. I meant that, you know, I believe you. Well, tea and reading might not be the pastime for me, but at least enjoy tea. I'm glad. Yuri faintly smiles to herself in relief. Monica raises an eyebrow, then smiles at me. So, what made you consider the literature club? I was afraid of this question. Something tells me I shouldn't tell Monica that I was practically dragged here by Yuri. Well, I haven't joined any clubs yet, and Yuri seemed really happy here, so that's okay. Don't be embarrassed. We'll make sure you feel right at home, okay? As president of the Literature Club, my duty to make the club fun and exciting for everyone. Monica, I'm surprised. How come you decided to start your own club? You could probably be a board member for any of the major clubs. Were you leader of the debate club last year? Well, you know, to be honest, I can't stand all of the politics around the major clubs. It feels like nothing but arguing about the budget and publicity and how to prepare for an event. I'd much rather take something I personally enjoy and make something special out of it. And if it encourages others to get into literature, then I'm fulfilling that dream. Monica really is a great leader. Yuri also nods in agreement. Then I'm surprised there ain't more people in the club yet. It must be hard to start a new club. You could pit it in that way. Not many people are very interested in putting out all the effort to start something brand new. Especially when it's something that doesn't grab your attention like literature. You have to work hard to convince people that you're both fun and worthwhile. But it makes cool events like the festival and that made it much more important. I'm confident that we can all really grow this club before we graduate. Right, everyone. Yeah, we'll do our best. You know it. Everyone enthusiastically agrees. Such different girls, all interested in the same goal. Monica must have worked really hard just to find these three. Maybe that's why they are all so delighted by the idea of the new member joining. Though I still don't really know if I can keep up with their level of enthusiasm about literature. So Perfect, what kind of things do you like to read? Well, considering how I've read these past few years, I don't really have a good way of answering that. He's gonna say manga. That's what he's gonna say, because he's into anime and gaming. Gotta be. Ooh! Manga. I mutter quietly to myself, jokingly. Nasaki's head suddenly perks up. It looks like she wants to say something, but she keeps quiet. Not much of a reader, I guess. Well, that can change. What am I saying? I spoke without thinking after seeing Yuri's sad smile. Anyways, what about you, Yuri? Well, let's see. Yuri traces the rim of her teacup with a finger. My favorites are usually novels that build deep and complex fantasy worlds. The level of creativity and craftsmanship behind them is amazing to me. And telling a good story of such a foreign world is equally impressive. Yuri goes on, clearly passionate about her reading. She seems reserved and timid since the moment I walked in, but it's obvious by her way of her eyes light up when she finds her comfort in the world of books, not people. But you know, I like a lot of things. Stories with deep psychological elements usually immerse me as well. Isn't it amazing how a writer can be so deliberately take advantage of your own lack of imagination to completely throw you for a loop. Anyway. Wait, what the fudge? I didn't even get to read that. Hold on. I've been reading a lot of horror lately. Oh, okay. Oh, I read horror books once. I desperately grasp something I can relate to at the minimal level. At this rate, Yuri might as well be having a conversation with a rock. Really? I wouldn't have expected that, Yuri. For someone as gentle as you, I guess you can say that. But if the story makes me think and takes me to another world, then I really can't put it down. Surreal horror is often very successful in changing the way you look in the world, if only for a brief moment. Ugh, I hate horror. Oh, why is that? Well, it's just... Nasaki's eyes dart over to me for a split second. Never mind. That's right, you usually like to write about cute things, don't you, Nasaki? What? What gives you that idea? You left a piece of scrap paper behind the last club meeting. It looked like you were writing a poem called Don't Say It Out Loud. And give that back. Fine, fine. Your cupcakes are your poems. Everything that you do is just cute as you are. Yuri saddles up behind. Nazaki and gets her hands on her shoulders. I'm not cute. Nazaki, you write your own poems? Yeah, well, I guess sometimes. Why do you care? I think that's impressive. Why don't you share them sometime? No. And Nazaki averts her eyes. You wouldn't like them. And I'm not a very confident writer yet. I understand how Nazaki feels. Sharing them level of writing takes much more than just confidence. The truest form of writing is writing to oneself. You must be willing to open up to your readers, exposing your vulnerabilities, showing even the deepest reaches of your heart. Do you have writing experience too, Yuri? Maybe if you share some of your work, you can set an example and help Misaki feel comfortable enough to share hers. I guess it's same for Yuri. Oh, I wanted to read someone's poem. We all sat in silence for a moment. Okay, I have an idea, everyone. Misaki and Yuri look acquisitively at Monika. Let's all go home and write a poem of our own. Then next time we meet, we'll all share them with each other. That way, everyone is even. Yeah, let's do it. Plus, now we have a new member, I think it will help us all get a little more comfortable with each other and straighten the bond of the club. Isn't that right, Perp? Monika smiled warmly at me once again. Hold on, there's still one problem. What's that? Now we're back to the original topic of me joining the club. I bluntly come forth with what's been on my mind the entire time. I never said I wanted to join this club. So Yuri may have convinced me to stop by, but I never made any decision. I still have other clubs to look at, and I lose my train of thought. All four girls stare back at me and dejective eyes. Alright, I'm just gonna sit there and say something. You look like you're pissed off at me. You look concerned about me. You look like you're sad, and you look like you just. The fuck is it? You look like you just wanna. I don't know. You look like you're concerned. You look like you're freaking mad. You look like you're freaking sad. You give me the eyes of I wanna take you to the closet and make out or something. I don't know. That's what you're making. I don't know what. You just like that. You have a flirtatious look on you. I don't know why. You look concerned though. You look sad. You look mad. But these two right here actually have that concerning look. Sad, like, oh no, why are you leaving? I want you to stay. Oh man, really? Why? You should have stayed. I don't know. You're supposed to be acting the same way as these two, but I think whoever drew you is making you look like you want to. But I'm sorry. I thought, huh? Perhaps you all, defensively against these girls. Defenseless. Oh my gosh. How am I supposed to make a clear-headed decision when it's like this? That is, if writing poems is a price I need to pay in order to spend every day with these beautiful girls? Right. Okay, I've decided then. I'll join the literature club. One by one, the girls' eyes lit up. Yes, I'm so happy. So Yuri wrapped her arms around me and jumping up and down. Hey, you really did scare me for a moment. If you really just came up for cupcakes, I would be really pissed. But you didn't even want me to come over for cupcakes in the first place. Saki, get out of here. Then that makes it official. Welcome to the literature club. Ha, thanks, I guess. Okay, everyone. I think with that, we can officially end today's meeting on a good note. Everyone remember tonight's assignment. Write a poem to bring into the next meeting so we can all share. Monika looks over at me once more. Percher, I look forward to seeing how you express yourself. Really? What the? Yeah. Can I really impress a class star, Monika, with a mediocre writing skill? I already feel the anxiety welling up inside of me. Meanwhile, the girls continue to chit-chat as Yuri and Misaki clean up their food. Hey Perf, since we're already here, do you want to walk home together? That's right, Yuri and I. never walk home together anymore because she's always stayed after school for clubs. Sure, might as well. Yay! With that, the two of us depart the club room and make our way home. The whole way, my mind wanders back and forth between the four girls: Sayuri, Misaki, Yuri, and of course, Mohika. Will I really be happy spending every day after school in the literature club? Perhaps I will have the chance to grow close to one of these girls. Alright, I'll just need to make the most of my circumstances, and I'm sure good fortune will find me. And I guess to start writing this poem tonight. Okay. It's time to write a poem. Pick words you think your favorite club member will like. Something good might happen with whoever likes your poem the most. Okay. Maybe I should do like my own, like what I think. Let me see here. Try to make it. I'm going to go with the words that I like here. So, intellectual, heaven sent, secretive. No, I don't want death. No, don't get out of here, death. Dream. Wait, hold on. I picked 5 words, but what? How is it supposed to, like, is it supposed to make a sentence? Because that makes no sense right now. What I've been picking. I just picked words that I liked out of all of them. Go with forgive. I'm gonna try to see if forgive. No, there's nothing. I can't even make a sentence. Unstable. Anxiety. Calm. Awesome. Essence. Yeah. Extraordinary. Throne, eternity, captive, anger, despise, pleasure, disoriented. Peaceful. Philosophy, ocean. I don't know who I'm trying to impress. I'm just putting out things that I want to put out there. Family. Like, I don't know who would be all like, do I see her? Wait. This one's it's Yuri. Monika. No, that's not Monika. Get out of here. You're not Monika. You're freaking Nisaki. Get out of here. Daydream. Determination. Hey, horror. Fear. Anime. Alright, day number 2. Hi again, Perpter. Glad to see you didn't run away on us. Nah, don't worry. This might be a little strange for me, but at least I keep my word. Well, I'm back in the literature club. I was the last to come in, so everyone else is already hanging out. Thanks for keeping your promise, Perpter. I hope this isn't too overwhelming of a commitment for you. Making you dive headfirst into literature when you're not accustomed to it? Oh, come on. Like he deserves any slack. Shut up. So Yuri told me you didn't even want to join any clubs this year. And last year too. I don't know if you plan on just coming here and hang out or what. But if you don't take this seriously, then you won't see the end of it. Misaki, you certainly have a big mouth for someone who keeps her manga collection in the club room. Eee. Misaki finds herself stuck in between saying Manika and manga. Manga is literature. Sort of defeated. Misaki plops back on her seat. Don't worry, guys. Perpter always gives it his best as long as he's having fun. I like to have fun. It helps me with busy work without me even asking. Like cooking, cleaning my room. How dependable, Sierra, just because you're moving so messy, distracting. And you almost set your house on fire once. It's that so... You two are really good friends, aren't you? I might be a little jealous. How come you and Perfect can become good friends too? Siri. Yeah, as usual, Siri seems oblivious to the weird situation she just put me into. Yuri even brought you something today, you know. Wait, me? Don't worry, really. Don't be shy. It's really nothing. What is it? Never mind. Sierra made it sound like a big deal when it's really not. What do I do? I'm sorry, Yuri, I wasn't thinking. I guess that means it's up to me to rescue the situation. Hey, don't worry about it. First of all, I wasn't expecting anything in the first place, so any nice gesture from you is a pleasant surprise. It'll make me happy no matter what. Is that so? Yeah, I won't make it big deal if you don't want to, if you don't want it to be. Yeah, alright, here. Yuri reaches into her bag and pulls out a book. I didn't want you to be feeling left out. So I picked out a book that I thought you might enjoy. It's a short read, so it keep your attention even if you don't really read. And we could, discuss it if you wanted. This is how is the girl accidentally being so cute. She even picked out a book for me she thinks I'll like, despite me not reading much. Yuri, thank you, I'll definitely read this. I enthusiastically take a book. Phew. Well, you can't read it in your own pace. I look forward to hearing what you would think. Now that everyone's settled in, and I expect Monica to kick off some scheduled activities for the club. But that doesn't seem to be the case. Sierra and Monica is having a cheery conversation in the corner, and Yuri's face is already buried in the book. I can't help but notice her intense expression, like she was waiting for this chance. Meanwhile, Misaki is rummaging around in the closet. I'm really curious to talk to Yuri a little bit more, but at the same time I would feel bad for distracting her from reading. I catch a glimpse of the cover of her book. It looks like the same book that she lent to me. More than that, she seems to be on the first few pages. Crap. I think she noticed me looking at her. She sneaks another glance at me and our eyes meet at the split second. But that only makes her hide her face deeper in the book. I'm sorry. I was just spacing out. No matter the distancing, I made her uncomfortable. Oh, it's fine. If I was focused, then I probably wouldn't have noticed in the first place. But I'm just rereading a bit of this, so... That's the book that you gave me, right? I wanted to read some of it. Not for any particular reason. Just curious how come you have two copies of the same book. Well, when I stopped at the bookstore yesterday... that's not what I meant. I mean, I just happened to buy two. Two of them. Oh, I see. There's something fairly obvious here that Yuri isn't telling me. But I decide to let it go. I'll definitely start reading it soon. I'm glad to hear. Once it starts to pick up, you might have a hard time hitting it down. It's very engaging and relatable story. Is that so? What's it about anyway? Well, Yuri closes the book and scans her eyes over the back. The book is titled Patriot of Mark V. Marco. Portrait of Marco. There's an ominous looking eye symbol on the front cover. Alright. I just wanted to make sure I don't accidentally give anything away. Basically, it's about this girl in high school who moves in with her long lost younger sister, but as soon as she does so, her life gets really strange. So it gets targeted by these people who escape from a human experiment prison. And while her life is in danger, she needs to desperately choose who to trust. No matter what she does, it ends up destroying most of her relationships, and her life starts to fall apart. That's kind of dark, isn't it? You already made it sound like there was going to be a nice story, so that dark turn came from nowhere. Uh, Yuri gently giggled all of a sudden. Are you not a fan of that sort of thing, Perpter? No, that it's not that. I mean, I can definitely enjoy these kind of stories, so don't worry. I hope so. Yeah, I totally forgot that Yuri is into these things. She's so shy and resentful and reclusive on the outside, but her mind seems to be completely different. It's just that those kind of stories, they challenge you to look into the life from a strange new perspective. When horrible things happen, not just because someone wants to be evil, but because they have their own goals and their own philosophy that they believe in, then suddenly, when you thought you related to the protagonist, they're made out to be the naive one for letting their one-sided morals interfere with the villain's plans. I'm rambling on, aren't I? Not again. I'm sorry. Hey, don't apologize. I haven't lost interest in or anything. Well, I guess it's alright then. But I feel like I should let you know that I have this problem. When I let things like books or writing fill my thoughts, I kind of forget to pay attention to other people. So I'm sorry if I end up saying something strange, and please stop me if I start talking too much. That's I really don't think you need to worry. That just means you're passionate about reading. That the least I can do is listen. It's a literature club after all. Uh, that's that's true. In fact, I might as well get started reading it then, right? You don't have to. What are you saying? Just for a moment ago, you said you were looking forward to it. Let me just get the book. I quickly received the book that I put in my bag. Alright, it's fine. If I sit here, right? I slip into a seat next to Yuri. Uh, yeah. Are you sure? You seem a little apprehensive. That's... I'm sorry. It's not that I don't want you to. It's just something I'm not very used to. That is reading in company with someone. I see. Well, just tell me if I end up distracting you or anything. Oh, alright. I open the book and start the paralogue. I soon understand that Yuri means about reading in company, as if I can feel her presence over my shoulder as I read. It's not a particular bad thing. Maybe a little distracting, but the feeling is somewhat comforting. Yuri is the corner of my eye. I realize that she is not actually looking at her own book. I glance over. It looks like she's reading from my book instead. Sorry. I was just... Yuri, you really apologize a lot, don't you? I do. I don't really mean to. Sorry. I mean... Hey, here... This should work, okay? I slid my desk until it's up against Yuri's, then hold my book more between the two of them. Hey, I'm supposed to... Yuri timidly closes her own copy. We'll each lean in a little bit. Our shoulders are almost touching. It feels like my left arm is in the way. So instead I use my right hand to hold the book open. Oh, I guess that makes it kind of difficult to turn the pages. Here. Yuri takes her left arm and holds the left side of the book between her thumb and her forefinger. Hey. I do the same with my right arm on the right side of the book. That way I turn the pages and Yuri slides it around under her thumb around the flips to her side. But in holding it like this, we're handling over closer together than before. It actually kind of distracted me. And as if I can feel the warmth of Yuri's face as she's in the corner of my vision. Oh, she just looked at me. Are you ready? Yeah. To turn the pages. Oh, sorry. I think I got a bit distracted for a second. I glance over Yuri's face again and our eyes meet. I don't know how I'll be able to keep up with her. Hey, that's okay. You're not as used to reading it, right? I don't mind being patient if it takes you a bit longer. It's probably the least I can do. Since you've been so patient with me, yeah, thanks. We continue reading. Yuri no longer asks me if I'm ready to turn the pages. Instead, I just assume that she finished the page before me, so I turn it by my own violation. We continue the first chapter in silence. Even so, turning each page also feels like an intimate exchange. My thumb gently letting go of the page, letting it flutter over to her slide as she catches it under her thumb. Hey Yuri, this might be a silly thought, but the main character kind of reminds me of you a little bit. You think so? How does she? Well, I guess she's more blunt in a lot of ways, but she's also second guesses all of the things she says and does. Like she's afraid she'll do something wrong. It's not like I have see into your head or anything, but it's kind of reminiscent of some of your mannerisms. Ah, I see. Yuri remains silent for a while. Is it a moment or a while? For a moment. But Perpter, that's probably a terrible thing to have in common with her. That's so embarrassing that you think that. Wait, what? Wait, I didn't mean it in a bad way or anything. Sorry, I really didn't know you were self-cautious about that sort of thing. I guess I more meant that it's kind of cute. What are you saying all of a sudden? Okay, everyone. I think it's time we share today's poems free with each other. We might not even have enough time if we wait too long. Yuri excels, spared from finishing her thought. Is that alright, Yuri? You look kind of down. I'm sorry if you haven't been looking forward to this. Oh, it's not. It's fine. Yuri releases her hand from the book, causing it to close on top of my thumb. Alright. I guess I'll do some more reading tonight. Or would you prefer I only read it with you? I guess I don't have too much of a preference either way. In that case, I'll read it a little more tonight. It'll be more fun to read with you after it picks up a little, you know? That's good reasoning. In the case, feel free to finish the first 2 chapters on your own time. Alright, I stand up. I make a mental note of where I left off with the book and then slip it back into my bag. By the way, did you remember to write a poem last night? Yeah, my realization ends. I can't believe I agreed to do something so embarrassing. I couldn't really find any inspiration since I never really done this before. Well, now that everyone ready, why don't you find someone to share with? I can't wait. Alright, enthusiastically pull out their poems. Sierra is the one the wrinkled sheet and loose leaf torn from a spiraled notebook. On the other hand, Monica writes hers in a composition notebook. I can already see Monica's pristine handwriting from where I sit. Nasaki and Yuri relentlessly complied as well, reaching into their bag. I do the same myself. Who should I show my poem to first? Me and Yuri had a deep conversation, like about that book we was like into. But my favorite one is Sayori, because my guy's being a douchebag to her for no apparent reason. She's like up and good to go, like, help. I'm definitely most comfortable sharing it with Sayori first, because we know we're friends, so she's my good friend after all. Hey, this is a good poem, Perfter. Are you sure it's your first time? Of course. It's not that good. I'm kind of the guy who would be writing poems in his spare time. Hey, I guess you're right. But that's why it's impressed me. Well, to be honest, I was afraid that you wouldn't do it seriously. Or that you wouldn't write one at all. I'm really happy that you wrote one. It just reminds me of how you're really a part of the club now. Not to mention the fact that I'm standing in front of you in the club room. Well, of course. I'm not really into it yet, but it doesn't mean I'll break my promise. See? It's like I said before, Perfter. Deep down, you're not as selfish at all, you know. Trying new things like this is for other people. That's something that's really... That's something that only really good people do. Thanks, Yuri. I'm not sure if Yuri sees the full pictures of my motives here. Then again, I can't deny that she's part of the reason I joined. Knowing how much this means to her and all. Yeah, and I'm going to make sure you have lots of fun here, okay? That will be my way of thanking you. Alright, I'm going to hold you to that then. Yay! Now, you'll read my poem too, right? Don't worry, I'm really bad at this. Well, we'll see about that. Dear Sunshine, the way you glow through my lines in the morning, it makes me feel like you miss me. Kissing my forehead to help me out of bed, making me rub the sleepies of my eyes. Are you asking me to come out to play? Are you trusting me to wish away the rainy days? I look above and the sky is blue. It's secret, but I trust you too. If it wasn't for you, I could sleep forever. But I'm not mad. I want breakfast. Oh my god, I love that last part. Oh my... I mean... Oh... Seriously, this is just a guess, but did you wait until this morning to write this? No, just a little bit. You can't answer just because a little bit. It's a yes or no question. I forgot to do it last night. Well, at least it makes me feel better about myself. Don't be mean. I still tried my best. Oh yeah, I actually do like it myself. Man, that last line got me. I love it, okay? And you actually made sense too, Yuri, because I didn't mean to say that it was a bad poem. It just came out nice, or how should I put it? It sounds like you... Really? Yeah. Especially that last line. I made eggs and toast, even though you were late to school. It's bad to skip breakfast. I get all cranky. Well, I guess there's no point in arguing. Anyway, thanks for showing me. This is so much fun. Monica is the best. Yeah. But next time, I won't forget. And I'm gonna write the best poem ever. Well, I guess I look forward to it. Actually, I like your poem. I would rather read your poems more. Okay, Yuri. As Yuri reads the poem, I notice her eyes lighten. Exceptional. What was that? Did I say that out loud? Yuri's first covers her mouth, but then ends up covering her whole face. going to hate me. You really didn't do anything wrong, Yuri. I guess you're right. What am I getting so nervous for? Yeah. Yuri takes a breath. So, what kind of writing experience do you have? You use imaginary and metaphors indicators. You've written a lot of poetry before? Really? Wow, that's a huge compliment coming from you. This is actually my first time really. Huh? Yuri stares at me blankly, then looks at the poem again. Well, I know that. I just meant you, Yuri trails off, unable to find an excuse. She traces her fingers along the words of the poem, as if breaking it down more thoroughly. Yeah, okay. This is reasonable, I was able to tell. It's just that there are specific writing habits that are usually typical of new writers, and having been through that myself, I kind of learned to pick up on them. I think the most noticeable thing I recognize as new writers is that they try to make their styles very deliberate. In other words, they tend to pick writing styles separate off the topic matter, and they fit the two together. The end result is both the style and the expressiveness are weakened. Once Yuri finds her train of thought, as if she's demeanor totally changes. Her seemingly is completely gone, and she sounds like an expert. Of course, that's not something you can be blamed for. There is so many different skills and techniques that go into writing even simple poems. Not just finding them and building them, but getting them to work together properly is the most challenging part. It might take you some time, but it comes from practice and learning by example and trying new things. I always hope that everyone else in the club gives you valuable feedback. Nasaki can be a little biased though. Biased? How? Well, never mind. I should be talking about people like that. Sorry. It's fine. I'm not sure if you're saying apologize to myself, to me, or Nasaki. Do you mind if I read your poem now? Oh, please do. I love to share my thoughts process behind it. Yuri smiles dreamily that's rare opportunity for her, which itself, it kind of funny. After all, isn't this supposed to be a literature club? Ghost under the light. The trendels in my hair illuminates beneath the amber glow. Bathing. It must be this one. The last remaining streetlight to have withstood the test of time. The last yet to be replaced by the sickening blue-green hue of the future. I bathe, calm, bathing air of the present, but living in the past. The light flickers. I flicker back. Huh. That is very deep. I'm sorry, I have such terrible handwriting. What? I wasn't thinking about that at all. Actually, I wasn't. I mean, the font that you use, the cursive writing, is kind of crazy and it's kind of hard to read, but not that hard to read. But it took you a long time to read. Yeah, it takes me a long time to read everything. Okay. Well, I just don't read scripts that very well. I actually think your handwriting is pretty. That's a relief. Also, I like the poem. Even though it's short, it was really descriptive. It wasn't too short. I usually write longer poems. Not at all. I'm really glad you like it. Well, I'll be honest. Since our first time sharing, I wanted to write something a little more mild. Something easy to digest, I suppose. Are you into ghost, Yuri? Huh? Actually, the story isn't about a ghost at all, Percher. Really? I must have totally missed the point. Well, I suppose you did only glance over it after all. No. Alright, I'm gonna go see what I think it is. I don't know. The ghost is either her or somebody else. A person that's underneath a light. And while they're underneath the light, that's the present. They look back to their past, and they look forward to their future. but the person's actually stuck thinking about their past. And when the light flickers, they click back. I don't know. Kind of makes me seem like it's about somebody who's like lost in thoughts. Okay, remember that poet often expresses their own thoughts, feelings, and experiences in their work. So I'm kind of thinking it's about her then. She's the ghost that's thinking about her past all the time, and she's kind of stuck in the past. Kind of something like that. They usually do more than tell a simple story and paint a picture. If in case perhaps the subject in the poem is only being subliminally compared to a ghost. Okay, that's right. Lingering in her last remaining place of comfort. Okay, I didn't know that one. I knew that one. Unable to let go of the past. And soon be left with nothing. Oh, because the light's flickering. That's what it's saying. Yeah. That's a lot more solemn, putting it that way. I hadn't even thought of that. That's impressive. Yeah. It's nothing really. Yours was impressive too, so nah. If anything, I could probably learn a thing or two from you. You think so? Yeah, of course. You know, I was really nervous about doing all this, but in the end, I enjoyed it. I'm going to keep doing my best for you, Perfect Earth. Me too. Huh. Alright, let's go to Monica. Hey, hi, Perfect Earth. Having a good time so far? Yeah. Good, glad to hear it. By the way, since you're new and everything, if you're ever needing any suggestions of like new activities or things you can do better, I'm always listening. Don't be afraid to bring things up, okay? Alright, I'll keep that in mind. Of course, I'll be afraid to bring things up. I'm much better off just going with the flow until I'm more settled in. Anyway, want to share a poem with me? It's kind of embarrassing, but I guess I have to. Don't worry, Perfect. We're all a little embarrassed today, you know? But it's a sort of barrier that we all can learn to get past soon. Yeah, that's true. I handed Monica my poem. Great job, Perfect. I was going, oh, in my head while reading it. It's really metaphorical. I'm not sure why, but I didn't expect you to go for something so deep. I guess I underestimated you. It's easiest for me to keep everyone's expectations low. That way, it always counts when I put in some effort. That's not very fair. I guess it worked anyway. You know that Yuri likes the kind of writing, yeah, right? Writing that's full of imaginary and symbolisms, unlike Yuri, who likes using simple and direct words to describe happiness and sadness. Yuri likes it when readers are left to derive their own meaning out of it. It's very challenging to write like that effectively. No, wait, hold on. Effectively. I thought I was going to say effort. Effectively, both allowing people to get something out of it just by feel, or letting them deeply analyze all of the nuisance. All the nuances? I don't know what that is. It can take years of practice, which is, I'm assuming Yuri has at this point. I never really asked though. I'm sure I'm nowhere near her level yet. Don't worry so much about that. You do your own thing. Just keep exploring and learn by trying new things. I'm sure I'll end up trying different things a lot. I could take a while before I feel comfortable doing this. That's okay. I'd love to see you try new things. That's the best way to find the kind of style that suits you. Everyone else might be a little bit biased toward their own kinds of styles, but I'll always keep you find that suits you most. Always help you find the one that suits you most. So don't force yourself to write the way everyone else wants you to write. It's not that like you have to worry about impressing them or anything. Yeah. Anyways, do you want to read my poem now? Yes, don't worry, I'm not very good. You sound pretty confident for someone who claims to be the very good. Well, that's because I have to sound confident. Oh, you sound confident when you saying you don't really, not really good. That doesn't mean I always feel that way though, you know? I see. Well, let's read it then. Hole in the wall. Hole in the wall. It couldn't have been me. See the direction the sparkle proceeds? A noisy neighbor? A noisy neighbor? An angry boyfriend? I'll never know it. I wasn't home. I peer outside. Inside for a clue. No, I can't see. I rail blind like a blank film left out in the sun. But it's too late. My remedies. Already scratched with the permanent copy of the meaningless image. It's just a little hole. It wasn't too bright. It wasn't too deep. Scratching forward into everything. A hole of infinite choices. I realize now that I wasn't looking in. I was looking out. And he, on the other side, was looking in. So you punched a hole through a wall and it went to the other side of your, like, neighbor's house, and he was all like, "Whoa, what the fuck you doing? Why you punching my wall?" And you're like, "Whoa." So you have anger issues. Sounds like you have anger issues, Monica. So what do you think? Very freeform, and is that what you call it? Sorry, I'm not really the right person to ask for feedback. Oh, it's okay. Yeah, what kind of style were you getting pretty popular nowadays? That's it. That is, a lot of poems have been putting emphasis on the timing between words and lines. When performed out loud, it was really powerful. What was the inspiration behind this one? Well, I'm not sure if I know how to put it. I guess you could say I had some kind of Infamy. Yeah, infamy. I had some kind of infamy recently. It's been influenced my poems a bit. And infamy. Yeah, something like that. I'm kind of nervous to talk about deep stuff like that because it's kind of coming on strongly. Maybe after everyone's better friends with each other. Anyway, here's Monica writing tip for the day. Sometimes when you're writing a poem or story, your brain gets too fixated on specific points. If you try too hard to perfect it, you'll never have any progress. Just force yourself to get along down paper and tidy up later. Another way to think about it is if you keep your pen on the same spot for too long, you'll just get a big dark puddle of ink. So just move your hand, go with the flow. That's my advice for today. Thanks for listening. Ah, okay, awesome. Now I got one more. Who should I show my poem next? Well, I guess it's only you, so I can. Bad attitude, little girl. Perfect. If you're not going to take this club seriously, then go home. What? Harsh. What do you expect me to believe that you are actually putting effort into this? Do you think I'm stupid? I'm not a writer. Maybe it's not very good, but yeah, I did put an effort. Well, I'll start somewhere, right? If you're still proud of the first poem you ever wrote, then I'd like to see you read it. Painful to think about. Fine. Well, sorry. You'll get better anyway. I'll tell you what to improve, but you're better off just trying again. Fair enough. Well, to each their own, I guess. Anyways, I guess I gotta share mine now. Knowing you probably think it's stupid. Eagles can fly, monkeys can climb, crickets can leap, horses can race, owls can seek, cheetahs can run, eagles can fly, people can try, but that's about it. Okay, climb. I mean, it had like a rhyme thing, and then this right here, that's like out of order. Oh well, that's about it. Yeah, I told you that you weren't gonna like it. I like it. I really, actually, I do like it. It makes a lot of sense. What? Just be honest. I am. Why are you so convinced that I wouldn't like it? Well, because everyone in high school thinks that writing has to be all sophisticated and stuff, so people don't even take my writing seriously. But isn't the point of poems for people to express themselves? Your writing style wouldn't make the message any less valid. Yes, exactly. I like it when it's easy to read, and it hits you hard. Like in this poem, seeing everyone around you do great things can be really disheartening. So I decided to write about it. Yeah, I understand. But the other nice things about simply writing is that it puts more weight on the wordplay. Like I set up the rhyme at the end and then made it fall flat on purpose. Oh, that's what you did. I like that. I really like that last ending. That's something I was looking at that. It was like na 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 na, and that's it. I was like, whoa, wait, when it just fell like really fast, like the ending. It helped bring out the feeling of in the last line. So you did. I guess more went into it than I realized. That's what it means to be a pro. You're full of yourself right now, little girl. I'm glad you learned something. Didn't expect that come from the youngest one here, did you? Yeah, I guess not. I decided to humor her with that last comment. I don't really care about how old everyone is. But Nisaki is feeling proud, then I won't take it away from her. Noise. Phew. I guess that's everyone. I glanced around the room, and a little more stressful than I anticipated. It is as if everyone is judging me for the mediocre writing ability. Even if they're just being nice. There's no way of my poem can stand up to theirs. This is the literature club, after all. I sigh. I guess that's what I ended up getting myself into. Across the room, Sherry and Monica are happily chatting. My eyes land on Yuri and Nisaki. They eagerly exchange sheets of paper, sharing their respective poems. As they read and Denim, I watch the expression change. Nisaki's eyebrows a foreshow of frustration. Meanwhile, Yuri smiles sadly. What's with this language? Did you say something? Oh, it's nothing. Nisaki dismissively returns the poem to the desk with one hand. I guess you could say that it's fancy. Thanks. Yours is cute. Cute? Did you completely miss the symbolism or something? It's clearly about feeling giving up. How can that be cute? I know that. I just meant the language, I guess. I was trying to say something nice. You mean you have to try that hard to come up with something nice to say? Thanks. But I really didn't come out nice at all. Well, I do have a couple of suggestions. If I was looking for suggestions, I would have just asked someone who actually liked it. Which people did, by the way. Sierra liked it, and Perfect did too. So based on that, I'll gladly give you some suggestions of my own. First of all, excuse me, I appreciate the offer, but I've spent a long time establishing my writing style. I don't expect it to change anytime soon unless, of course, I come across something particularly inspiring, which I haven't yet. And Perfect like my poem too, you know. He even told me that he was impressed by it. Nisaki suddenly stands up. Oh, I didn't realize you were so invested in trying to impress our new member, Yuri. Ew, that's not what you're just. Yuri stands up as well. Maybe you're just jealous that Perfect appreciates my advice more than he appreciates yours. And now, how did you know he didn't appreciate my advice more? Are you that full of yourself? No. If I was that full of myself, I would deliberately go out of my way to make everything I do overly cutesy. Is everyone okay? Well, you know what? I wasn't the one whose boobs magically grew a size bigger as soon as Perthur started showing up. Nasaki? Nasaki, that's a little... That doesn't involve you. I don't like fighting, guys. Suddenly, both the girls turned toward me, as if they noticed I was standing there. Perthur! She's just trying to make me look bad. That's not true. She started it. If she could get over herself and learn to appreciate the simple writing is more effective, then this wouldn't have happened in the first place. What's the point of making your poems all like with no reason? Oh, please don't make me choose between you two. I don't wanna be mean to you. Even though I don't like you, Nosaki, I don't wanna sit there and just be biased on Yuri. Because I understand both y'all's like she wants metaphors and all that stuff to make you think, while you just want to be blunt about your stuff. It's like, hey, this is what it's gonna go, and it's like, yours is cute. Yours is cute. Don't get all like huffy and puffy about somebody saying your stuff is cute. You don't act all high and mighty because your stuff is like metaphorically and like makes you think and stuff like that. The meaning would jump out at the reader, not force them to have figured it out. Help me explain that to her, Perthur. Wait, there's a reason we have so many deep and expressive words in our language. It's the only way we convey complex feelings and meaning the most effectively. Avoiding them is not only unnecessarily limited to yourself, it's also a waste. Well, I understand what you're saying, but there's two different types of styles. She has her style, you have your style. If she don't want to sit there and like express emotions like you want to express your emotions, hers is expressing her emotions too in a different way than you are. You understand that, right? Perfect. I understand. Well, how did I get dragged into this in the first place? It's not like I knew anything about writing. But whomever I agree with, they'll probably think more highly of me. I'm not. I'm gonna let her do it. Help me. And it's like because of me drying up the few words I had in my mouth. So instead of, I turned to Yuri. Yuri? But your expression is too defenseless, that I can't bring myself to say anything to her. Yuri? Alright, yeah, everyone's fighting and making Yuri uncomfortable. How can these two keep fighting when you know you're making your friends feel like this? Perthur. Well, this is her problem. This isn't about her. I agree. It's unfair for others to interject with their own feelings as you are conflict. Yeah, unless Yuri wants to tell Yuri that a stuck-up jerk she's being. She would never. It's your immaturity that made her upset in the first place. Excuse me? Are you listening to yourself? This is exactly why. Exactly why nobody likes. Stop! Misaki, Yuri, you guys are my friends. I just want everyone to get along and be happy. My friends are wonderful people. And I love them because they are different. Misaki's poems, they're amazing because they give you so many feelings with just a few words. And Yuri's poems are amazing because they paint beautiful pictures in your head. Everyone's so talented. So why are we fighting? Because also, Misaki's cute and there's nothing wrong with that. And Yuri's boobs are the same size as they were always. Big and beautiful. Yuri stands up triumphantly. Monika stands behind her with a bewildered expression. I'll make some tea. Yuri rushes off. Misaki sits down in a blank expression with her face staring at nothing. So this is why Yuri is vice president and Monika. She nods in return. To be honest, I might come across as a good leader. I can organize things, but I'm not very good with people. I couldn't even bring myself to interject. As president, that kind of embarrassing of me. Nah. It's not like I can blame you. I wasn't able to say anything either. Well, I guess that just means Yuri is amazing in her own way, isn't she? You could say that. She might be an airhead, but sometimes it's weirdly suspicious that She knows exactly what she's doing. I see. Takes good care of her, okay? And take good care of her? What? I would hate to see her get herself hurt. That makes two of us. You can count on me. Monica smiles sweetly at me, causing my stomach to knot. Such a genuine person really does make a good president, regardless of what she says. If only I could get a chance to talk to her a little more. Okay, everyone, it's just about time to leave. How did you all feel about sharing poems? It was a lot of fun. Well, I'd say it was worth it. It was alright. Well, almost, mostly. Perfect, how about you? Yeah, I'd say the same. It was a neat thing to talk about with everyone. Awesome. In the case, we'll do the same thing tomorrow. And maybe you learn something with your friends too. So your poems will turn out even better. Do it again? I think to myself, I did learn a little more about the kinds of poems everyone likes. With any luck, that means I can at least do a better job impressing those I want to impress. I nod to myself with newfound determination. Perfect. Ready to walk home? Sure, let's go. Hee. The area beams at me. It truly has been a while since your theory and I spent this much time together. I can't really say I'm not enjoying it either. Finally, you're enjoying something you should enjoy, said Yuri. About what happened earlier, what do you mean? You know, between Yuri and Misaki, does that kind of thing happen often? No. That's really the first time that I've ever seen them fight like that. I promise, they're wonderful people. You don't hate them, do you? No, I don't hate them. I just wanted your opinion, that's all. I can see why they make good friends with you. Phew. You know, Perfter, it's nice that I get to spend time with you in the club. But I think seeing you get along with everyone that's what makes me happiest. And I think everyone really likes you too. Every day is going to be so much fun. Sigh. It looks like Sierra still hasn't caught into the kind of situation I'm in. Sure, being friends with everyone is nice, but does it really need to stop there? Well, we'll just have to see what in the future holds, Sierra. I passed Ari on the shoulder. I said that more to myself than to her, but it's easy to use Sierra as a internal monologue sometimes. Okay. Yeah, let's do this. Alright, I think I'm gonna end it here on this one. I'm gonna stop it. And I'm gonna go day 2. I'm gonna go to day 3 in a while, man.